on with the Queen 50 series. Vlad just told me a moment ago that this song is another one of the classic Freddie style songs. Well, that of course puts a certain idea in my mind, as well as making me curious to see exactly how it manifests itself. Before I dive in, let me remind you, you can always check out my Ko-fi and Patreon pages if you wish to support my journey into rock music, and you will find there early access to the videos which eventually come here on YouTube, as well as extra goodies and series which will never be available on YouTube due to copyright issues, and a music theory course. Check it out if you want to. As usual, Vlad has given me a little bit of background information on the song to read, so let's see what that is and then I'll see what I have to hear. Good old-fashioned lover boy. Leave it to Queen to come up with a title like that. Written by Freddie Mercury and released as a single in 1977, it was one of several British music hall-inspired songs. It reached number 17 on the UK singles chart. Bolstered by the quartet's formidable harmonies, Good Old-Fashioned Lover Boy featured a fifth contributor in the form of backing vocals by late Queen confidant engineer Mike Stone, who sings with Mercury the line, "Hey boy, where'd you get it from? Hey boy, where did you go?" That's interesting. So he was actually an engineer in the recording studio, but I guess he must have had a voice because they drafted him apparently. Let's see how this sounds. I can dim the lights and sing you songs full of sad things. We can do the tango just for two. I can serenade and gently play on your heartstrings. Be a Valentino just for you. Ooh, lover boy, what to do tonight? Hey boy, set my alarm, turn on my charm. That's because I'm a good old-fashioned lover boy. You know, the intro line and this portion as well, it really sounds like it ought to be a pair. It ought to be a set paired with, what was it, Seaside Rendezvous, I think is what I'm remembering. I listen to so many of these songs in such rapid succession and they're all new to me, so sometimes I struggle to recall which name goes with which one and all. But anyway, I think it was Seaside Rendezvous that I remember having the same sort of character quality and even the way he sang the opening line. I'm not very far into it. Let's listen back again. I imagine these two being on facing pages of a songbook or something like that, side by side. I can dim the lights and sing you songs full of sad things. We can do the tango just for two. I can serenade and gently play on your heart. Even the way the guitar enters. Even uses the word Valentino, right? That's because I'm a good old-fashioned lover boy. Ooh, let me feel your heartbeat grow faster, faster. I like that. Can you feel my love? Let me feel your heartbeat. And we hear bump, 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 as if it's the heartbeat. You know, there are some classical pieces of music also that are meant to imitate the heartbeat, or in fact, there is a piece of music that Bach wrote, which sometimes gets nicknamed the heartbeat andante because it has this kind of heartbeat feel to it. I even play an arrangement of it on the harp. Let's see here. You hear this. So heartbeat here is pumping a bit harder. Obviously. It's a rather passionate expression of love and pump, 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 pump. So it's just fun seeing how the different characters, qualities get placed in music. Even something as simple as a heartbeat. Where does it come from? It comes from a very, well, every human being, every living person, creature has a heart beating. And it's so built into our sense of life. Of course we see it show up in music. But when it's thrown out there in such obvious display, it's kind of fun. It's cute, isn't it?
Ooh, let me feel your heartbeat. Grow faster, faster. Can you feel my love heat? Come on and see to my heart, seed of love, and tell me how do you feel right after all? I'd like for you and I to go romancing. Say the word, your wish is my command. Ooh, lover boy, what is it tonight? Hey boy, write my letter, feel much better, and use my fancy pattern on the telephone. When I'm not with you, think of you always.
Dancing time.
When I'm not with you, think of me always. Love you, love you. Hey boy, where'd you get it from? Hey boy, where did...
Yeah, it belongs with Seaside Rendezvous. It belongs because it's the same type of quick mood changes and shifting from one expression of affection, of passion, of love to another side of it. We're jumping from feeling the heartbeat to say the word, your wish is my command. I better read the lyrics here. Write my letter. Okay, we're jumping from being in person to writing a letter to when I'm not with you, think of me always. We're jumping around, and the music does the same. And just as I think I said with Seaside Rendezvous, it gives this feeling of somebody who is just so happily in love. They don't care what the world thinks, what anybody thinks. In a way, not even what their lover thinks about their behavior. They're just happy to be writing, to be calling, to be dancing, to be talking, to be with them. It doesn't matter. They're just completely abandoned. It's a complete abandonment into this romantic experience. And yes, okay, so this is yet another one of those music hall style pieces, but you have to admit, it's really good. And it conveys this character, it communicates this experience so perfectly naturally. I don't know if you have ever felt that way, but probably there are quite a few people who have. And it's such a beautiful snapshot representation of that experience in a person's life. It's lovely.
Love you. Hey boy, where'd you get it from? Hey boy, where did you go? I learned my passion in the good old-fashioned school of lover boys.
And of course the guitar, which we all know is great.
Dining at the Ritz, we'll meet at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Pay the bill, you taste the wine. Driving back in style in my saloon will do quite nicely. Just take me back to yours, that will be fine. Come on and get it. Ooh, love. There it goes again. Ooh, my good old-fashioned love. Boy, what you did tonight. Hey, boy, everything's alright. Just hold on tight. That's because I'm a good old-fashioned lover boy.
It also has this element of, well, it makes me think of even some of the old pin-up posters, you know, this glamour life and the excess and even what did the lyrics say? Driving back in style in my saloon will do quite nicely. Just take me back to yours. That will be fine. Come on and get it. Oh, love, there he goes again. I mean, it's this almost an retro movie lifestyle 30s picture that we have here, which is kind of fun because you think about when this was written, and we now think of Queen as being a bit old-fashioned, right? But clearly, when they were producing this music, they were wanting to throw the listener back to a few decades, because everyone always looks back fondly to yesteryear, to the innocent times before, to... There's always this rosy tint to the past. And especially a few decades ago, usually going back to our childhood, or perhaps the stories of our grandparents or our parents. You know, there's this sheen about it. It's not so far removed that we can't completely relate. I just remembered something. I just read an article. About this 19-year-old kid in the UK who is living exactly as much as possible like the 30s and 40s. He even owns a car. He just bought a car from that era. All his clothes are from that era. He doesn't even use a cell phone. He lives with his grandmother. And his grandmother uses a smartphone, but he uses this type of phone, whatever it's called. And he's so passionate about that time. And it just reminded me, this song just reminded me of that little side note there. But this idea that life back then was somehow so wonderful. And when you produce a piece of music that includes that sense of nostalgia in a way that also connects with your audience's present life experience, something like this. Good old-fashioned lover boy. Yes, we're throwing everyone back to some time before. At the same time, we are expressing an experience with which many of them have, or at least dream of having. And that combination is a surefire way to become embedded in the affections of your audience. They relate, and it also somehow makes them feel better about the world. At least in their imagination. And I guess that's one of the things that I think is so lovely about this song. It's upbeat, it's positive, it has this romantic quality to it. It has all the panache of Freddie Mercury. It has the sentimentality towards yesteryear, and it has the immediacy of a romantic experience, which could even be in your own life. And so there it is. Of course, we still hear all the wonderful... Well, I was talking earlier about how the music shifts one style to the next, and this middle section especially, where it gets all juicy and luscious and smooth, and it's kind of a slow dance for two, you know? And then suddenly we're back to the lively, carefree. I want to go back and listen to that section. I kind of hoped it would come twice, but it only came once. So I'm going to back up and listen to that once more just to enjoy it for a moment.
Write my letter, feel much better, and use my fancy patter on the telephone.
Wrap my letter, put a stamp on it. You know, I can almost imagine. Lick the stamp, put it on. The old style stamps that didn't just peel off the page, right?
Write my letter, feel much better, and use my fancy patter on the telephone. When I'm not with you.
It's such a good transition. Listen to what's happening in the piano, because that is the key to this shift in style.
Tonight, hey boy, write my letter, feel much better, and use my fancy patter on the telephone.
They're using yum bum 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 da 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 da, and so then when the music kind of pauses for a minute and the piano fills it, it simply takes a slower pace, about half tempo, instead of da 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 ba bum bum ba ba bum bum. It's a simple augmenting of the time value of each note, but it's kind of like taking a piece of elastic or a rubber band and stretching it twice as long. And suddenly, in that act of stretching, everything changes dimensionally about the piece. Think of a rubber band. When you stretch it, it becomes thinner, more transparent. It feels different. It's everything about it just changes in that moment. And it's the piano line that has achieved this here. Everything else got out of the way. So it doesn't end up sounding labored or thick in that transition moment. It just happens so easily.
Hey boy, write my letter, feel much better, and use my fancy patter on the telephone. When I'm not with you, think of you.
And now the guitar. Well, I find myself saying this a lot with Queen, but I'm going to say it again. The guitar is serving as a voice equal to Freddie's. And I guess I would say then that when this extra voice is added in that line, it's not the fifth voice, it's the sixth voice. Because here, I wouldn't even call it voice number 5. The guitar is voice number 2. We have voice 1, voice 2, and then the others come after.
When I'm not with you, think of you always. When it's the clock summer night. When I'm not with you, think of me always. Love you. Hey boy, where'd you get it from? Hey boy, where did...
And now here in this section, as we switch back to the different, more dynamic pace, the guitar is no longer singing a duet, It is talking back to Freddie. Hey boy, where'd you get it from?
Love you. Hey boy, where'd you get it from? Hey boy, where did you go? I learned my passion in the good old fashioned school of lover boys.
The guitar solo is this piece in miniature form. What I mean is, as it starts out, we feel like it's the embodiment of this character, this personality, this individual who's just abandoned themselves to this experience. We hear the flirtatiousness, we hear the flightiness, the darting one direction and the other. And then, just about the time we start to settle into following this person in all their activities around this topic, suddenly we hear the guitar, a different voice coming in, and a different voice, and suddenly it's overlapping. And it's just like what's happening on a larger scale in the whole song. The different characters, the different moods. It's all happening here in the guitar solo. And if I were going to give somebody a snapshot of this piece, say they only had 10 seconds to listen, or however many seconds, I'd say, okay, listen to this section. This will tell you everything you need to know. Don't need the lyrics. You don't need Freddie's voice. You just listen to this little bit, you get the picture. And that is quite an accomplishment for somebody who's not even the singer, not even the one carrying the message of the song, to be able to communicate and encapsulate, distill, condense everything into such a small space of time on their instrument. Every time I listen to Brian May, my appreciation for his musical skill increases. And I know everybody says Brian May is an astrophysicist, Brian May has brains. Of course he does. But I don't like to get distracted by someone's other achievements. It's not that I dismiss them, but you can have plenty of astrophysicists and scientists and brilliant people who can't play music, who don't have this musical skill developed, musical sense, musical instinct. It's a combination of instinct, intuitiveness, skill, technique, attention to detail. It's all combined, and as we can see here, it's an incredible thing when it all comes together in one moment.
Dining at the Ritz, we'll meet at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Pay the bill you
Who would think of that? We'll meet at 9. Let's count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Meet me at 9. I mean 9, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. It's these little creative moments that are so naturally simple. at the same time, who would think to throw that in there? You're writing a song about good old-fashioned lover boy. Who's going to be counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Queen will. Freddie will.
At the Ritz, we'll meet at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Pay the bill, you taste the wine.
Here's the piano.
Back in style in my saloon will do quite nicely. Just take me back to yours, that will be fine. Come on and get it. Ooh, love. There it goes again. Ooh, my good old-fashioned love boy. Watching it tonight. Hey, boy. Everything's alright, just hold on tight. That's because I'm a good old-fashioned lover boy.
Should I say, give us a kiss? Queen is great. I like Queen. And, well, this whole journey into Queen, Vlad told me from the beginning, we won't hit every single great big number in their work. That will have to come at a later time. The intent is to show you their versatility and the wide variety of styles that they excelled at. And obviously, they go through a wide range. This one, as I said, is basically the facing page to Seaside Rendezvous. We could say they're the same style. And so it's the first time I've run into one of their songs, which is kind of a repeat of a style that I've heard before. Well, this is number 15, so... And I guess I'm glad to see that, because it means that it wasn't just a one-off success or happy accident. They actually knew how to create it, how to design a piece of music like this, and they could do it once, twice, they could do it 300 times if they wanted to. I doubt they did it 300 times because we'd all get tired of it by then, right? But it works so incredibly well. And it's an example of not just their versatility in creating one piece of music, but their versatility within the music. And their utter control of every moment in that music. And I guess that is one of the things that I appreciate from a musician and performer's perspective. I greatly appreciate what I hear in their competence and mastery of what they're doing. There's nothing sloppy about it. There's nothing left to chance about it. It is so well put together. And that is one of the reasons they excel at what they do. This one, it's throwing us back to, I don't know, 30s, 40s. It's this club style, dancing, everybody dancing, happy, a cocktail, a piano in the corner, cigars, whatever's going on, casino. And it's all in this, as the intro said, music hall style, kind of theatrical Broadway presentation of this kind of life. And, well, it works, and it's great, and it's a lot of fun to listen to, and I am enjoying this journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next and seeing what else they have in their back pocket. So, what a fun listen. I'll see you soon.